very contented mother. It's about 3 years since we talked to Sinead O'Connor, and she's changed. Here's how she was then. Lovely to see you again. I haven't seen you for... What have you been doing with yourself? Well, obviously sort of having babies and...
Yeah, well, I was pregnant for 9 months and then I was looking after my babies.
Yeah, for 14 You've got 2 now, haven't you?
Yeah, my son is almost 10 and my daughter's 14 months. I got a couple of
little
pictures,
daughter.
yeah, that's my little girl.
Bit Roisin.
That's my little girl, yeah, Roisin.
Yeah, oh, she's lovely.
And how old is she now?
She's 14 months now. That's when she was about 3 months.
Yeah.
But she's great. And then they've got one of my son also.
We got one of the little boy? Yeah.
We can see him, there he is.
Hey, that was you, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does look very like you. So are you, I mean, is that right, what we hear, that you are much more settled, you're a much happier person in yourself?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
And your music reflects that. Because this new EP that you've got out, the song you're singing for us later today is called This Is to Mother You.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Doesn't mean for your children.
No, it's a love song. Really,
right.
I mean, it started as a love song, and it started also, I mean, there are lots of layers to songs. It started, I guess, as something that I wrote for myself, to kind of comfort myself and soothe myself, and also as a love song, thinking about somebody that I knew.
Right.
And then I guess it's something that just kind of, you know, translates to the world in general, which is in need of mothering, you know.
Did your sort of current happiness and contentment, did that come almost automatically with having children, or have you had to look for it very hard? Because you used to be generally angry, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, there's an old quote which says that, you know, the man that does not lose his mind over some things has no mind to lose, you know. That those of us who come from violent abuse have to work very hard in order to attain the kind of happiness which is everyone's birthright, really, you know. So I guess I did a lot of work to get to that point.
Is this concept of mothering, which is included in your song, and you've used it before as well, it's very important to you because of your own childhood, the abuse and neglect that you suffered?
I guess that allows me to understand and recognise the need for mothering in other people, because I have that need myself.
Yeah, and it's not just children.
No,
we all need
human race.
We all need mothering.
But it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, it seems that children who are badly abused and neglected can go one of two ways in their own adulthood. They can either repeat that, and we see that happening so often, the pattern repeating itself, or they can do what you've done, which is to completely break from it and use that pain to present their child with happiness and a contented childhood.
Yeah, well, see, I feel quite strongly about this, actually. Like, see, I've been quite lucky because I made money, so I could afford to go for therapy, you know, 5 days a week, which I did for a long time. But an awful lot of people can't afford to go for therapy, and I do feel very strongly about that, you know, again, those of us that come from abuse, you know, the only way to really get better and recover is go for therapy. So
you're saying
unfortunately, it's like 50 quid a go, you know what I mean?
You can't break the cycle without outside help?
I don't believe you can, no. I mean, maybe some people can and have, but, you know, I think it's not true that people who have been abused will automatically abuse, but there are other things that can happen, for, like with my own son, for example, you know, I was so afraid of being like my own mother that I wouldn't discipline him at all, which is not good for a kid either, you know what I mean? That
I see.
It's not necessarily that you'll dance on your children, but it's other ways, that you'll be afraid to be firm and put your foot down.
You can overcompensate.
So, yeah.
Are you sort of more reconciled with your own family now? Because there was a time years ago when you very much split with your brothers and sisters.
Well, I guess we were all quite hurt. I mean, we were quite a hurt family, you know, and I guess it was difficult for my family seeing the way the media kind of handled, you know, my speaking about what had happened. Yeah, so it was, you know, but we made up. I mean, I think we understand each other a lot. We were all in a lot of pain, really, at the time.
You were, yes, and
a
lot of your songs reflected that too. You were very, very young. You remember that, and it went down incredibly badly in America for some strange reason. You tore up a photo of the Pope and stuff, and there was absolute outrage. Although, you know, coming as you are from Ireland, being a Catholic, you obviously had the right to say what you thought.
Well, well, it was at the stage when people weren't aware of the extent of the sexual abuse which was going on in the church in Ireland, and it was a gesture which was very much about Ireland, so I guess understandably it would have been hard for anyone outside of Ireland to recognise what it was about, you know. But there was actually a lot less of a reaction to it than the press would have you think, do you know what I mean? I mean, at the Bob Dylan show, for example, half the audience were cheering, which the press never write, do you know what I mean?
Wrote the other half.
So, you know.
Well, when you look back at those incidents, I mean, take that as a kind of a typical example of the sort of statements that you made, the ripping up of the Pope's picture, live on American TV, which is going some, actually. Do you think you'd do that now? I mean, supposing you hadn't done it then. Now that you're more contented and you've found a centre to yourself, would you need to make that kind of gesture now, do you think?
I guess at the time I felt, and I'm sure a lot of the members of the church would feel it as well, that, you know, we kind of are the church, and often the priests themselves are not allowed to talk about these things, do you know what I mean? So it was left down to us, some of us in Ireland, to talk about it on their behalf. That it's a gesture, I guess, that I stand by, and that, you know, I always say I'm as proud of that as I am of having my children, you know, that I think I know how it could come across as being disrespectful, but it wasn't intended as being disrespectful to Catholic people. In fact, you know, who it was really about was the victims of the abuse, who were trying every other avenue to have their case heard, but were being shut up. Do you know what I mean?
So you needed an extravagant gesture.
Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, it was an artistic gesture, and really it was an illustration to a song, which was quite important, you know. But it was really, I guess, an artistic gesture. But, you know, I guess, if you know, I don't want to kind of cause trouble or get into trouble or get beaten up. But if I came across something that I felt that strongly about, again, I guess I would stand up and do it. Because, you know, at the end of the day, the victims of the abuse had no voice. Do you know what I mean? So somebody had to stand up and voice. And I was just one of a group of people who were doing that, you know.
One of the people who did stand up for you very strongly at that time was Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
And actually you're singing, because as I say at the end of the show, your new video shows you with him.
Yeah.
I see a little bit of it. We're hearing the full thing at the end of the show, but if we can see a little bit of it now.
All the pain that you have known, all the violence in your soul, all the wrong things you have done, I will take from you when I come.
I don't mean this offensively at all. Was that pure acting, or was there some gratitude there for his stand for you?
I know, I mean, we're friends. I mean, you know, we get on very well, we're very fond of each other, so no, it wasn't
a pleasant acting
as
role.
much acting as if it had been a total stranger, which is why I wanted him to do it. I didn't want to get into bed with it.
It must have been balm to you, actually, when someone like him stood up and said she has every right to say what she thinks, and actually almost a duty, a moral duty, to say what she thinks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's someone who's taken an awful lot of stick for standing up for what he believes in, you know, but you wouldn't necessarily read about it all. But he was dropped from his record company there a few years ago because he released an album which was very much in support of the Sandinistas in Nicaragua, you know, and he was dropped from his record company basically because of it, you know, and obviously coming from the southern states of America, you know, gets a lot of stick from the real kind of racist element, you know, for standing up for what he believes in. So he would identify very strongly with me, I think.
And I mean, we're talking about the pursuit of happiness today. I mean, what is happiness for you? I mean,
a penis is hard to find.
Oh dear, I wish you hadn't said that. Okay. But is that, really, that's it? It's not motherhood. It's being honest.
Well, I mean, that's where motherhood comes from, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But you're looking for someone, are you? You're looking for a man?
No, I have a nice man.
You have a nice man. Okay.
No, I'm laughing because it's in you know, the Beverly Hillbillies, where the French woman comes to marry the really rich uncle, and she goes, "Happiness is hard to find."
That's right.
My father used to sing a song, "What a good man is hard to find. You always get the other kind."
Yeah.
And your mother sings, "What men must work and women must weep."
Yes.
And so it goes on.
So it goes on. Generation after generation.
Just very quickly on the singing, was there a hiatus as you went through this process, you know, I mean, because you didn't do much for a while. Obviously that was motherhood and stuff, but also did you need time just to get centred before you wrote and sang again?
Yeah, I needed time to get centred, basically. But the way I write, I mean, I don't write that often. Songs happen about every 6 months I would write a song. I don't really, it's not what I do all the time, do you know what I mean? It's not my kind of #1 thing in life, you know, so no, it's not like I don't go into the studio to write songs or stuff like that. I just let them happen when they happen. So.
It's lovely to see you again.
It's good to see you again.
Can I say hello to my daughter?
Yes,
go on, say
hello, Roisin, hello, Helen, hello, Rosemary, and hello, John.
How old is Roisin now?
14 months.
14 months.
Hello, chicken. Yeah.
All righty. Well, look, thanks for being in. And actually, you know, you talk about extravagant gestures and the Pope. I mean, those who watch this programme regularly will know you gave a house away.
A Hollywood house.
A Hollywood house. It was for the people of Ethiopia, wasn't it? And the Golden Pot.
Yeah, for the Red Cross, yeah.
Incredible. Just picked up the phone and gave a house. Fantastic. Well, it's lovely to see you in your Oriental dress.
Yeah. Coincidence, and my friend Lynn was on. It's a total coincidence. That's a photograph of me and Roisin was taken coming away from Lynn's house. I've been staying in New York here.
Lynn Franks. Oh, great. Well, she's back as well, but she's not on. Okay, well, good to see you.
Right,
and good luck with the EP. Yeah, good. Smashing.
Hope I'm not in trouble for saying EP.
It's all right. It's okay. You don't have to say it 3 times. That's all. Once is quite enough.
I didn't hear it. Anyway, Brian.
Senor. Now, you know when you buy a roast chicken, you get the giblets, don't throw them away. The chicken livers are wonderful. You only get one of them.
This is to mother you, to comfort you and get you through. all